Okay, we're back to reviews like this, and yeah, after last time, that obviously didn't work out the way I planned, so I might just stay this way from now on, especially since the general reaction seemed to be like, yeah, the commentary, doing it like that, that's fine and everything, but the old way was fine too, so yeah, and then plus I mean, you're doing a commentary, you need to make sure it's funny, and I mean, it seemed like nobody was saying it was unfunny, but still, I did sort of just try to get it out as fast as possible. I didn't really like think, okay, how could I really get this moment? Like, how could I really play each moment to be as funny as possible? It's just like what line goes here. So yeah, not worth it for a whole bunch of reasons, I guess. So if I do it again, it won't be on YouTube. But anyway. All right, the episode of the day, which is Lesson Zero, and now that the big season opener has come and gone, it's time for I guess more of the day in the life episodes, just like last season. So, all right, we start out playing up Twilight's obsessive side. She's uh, making a checklist of the list of things she needs to make a checklist, on which the first item is form a checklist, and probably the least funny gag in the episode, but that it's the first one though, so yeah, they do get better as they go. And okay, what else? Yeah, she's going through the stuff she needs. She picks up cupcakes for a picnic later with her friends. She finds out she's been given the baker's dozen, and she starts to examine them now because she's not sure they're even anymore for everyone. It's like playing up her sort of obsessive compulsive side. Scrapes off icing to see if she can make them all perfectly even, and then gets it to where there's almost none on each one. And then he also flings a whole ton on Spike, and we get a interesting sight gag there, which, well, it's kind of funny. He licks it all off himself while spinning himself like a top, and just like, well, very efficient and a little bit gross. Which, okay, so mixed emotions there. Obviously, Spike's just like that's what I do. But all right. Anyway, though, where we get to the conflict is the one thing Twilight's forgotten is to send the letter she always sends to the princess on the morality of friendship, and it's the due date. It's the technical due date. They weren't, I guess, really firmly established, but whatever. So okay, obviously we've been playing up her obsessive compulsive side, so she really wants to get it done now. She's nervous that maybe the princess won't forgive her, even though there's really no reason she shouldn't, especially if she doesn't have anything to send. And I mean, Spike tries to tell her it's probably not a big deal, even a little bit, but she goes crazy with what might happen. Just like, yeah, she might think I'm not taking my studies seriously, and then she might send me in to take a test, and then I might not pass the test, and then I might not just get held back a grade, I might get sent all the way back to magic kindergarten, and then Spike literally shoves the dramatic background that is drawn for Twilight off screen as she's having that reaction. Which, yeah, it's like gag there. And then she tries to tell her it's the most ridiculous thing he's ever heard, but she just doesn't even register. She takes off trying to find a problem to solve, and then cut to actually it was 4 out of the 5 friends, but yeah, one at a time. She finds Rarity being melodramatic over losing a ribbon, and since she's having like fainting spells and screaming that it's the worst possible thing, and so Twilight thinks, okay, she's definitely got a problem. It put Rarity's mind at ease, but of course Rarity's just being a drama queen. She spots it on the floor and then problem solved, so Twilight doesn't have anything to help with there. And then she finds Applejack and Rainbow Dash. Rainbow Dash is smashing up Applejack's barn. She thinks it means they're in a fight, and she actually, without even, while Rainbow's trying to figure out what the heck's going on, she takes her aside and puts her on a therapy couch. And then, only then does she get the explanation that, yeah, Applejack asked Rainbow to destroy the barn so she could build a new one, because I guess whatever was wrong with the old one. But anyway, we also get, I think it was the Sonic Rain Boom again, where she flies up and then flies all the way down and, yeah, explodes the barn. And they have to take cover in a trench, too, which seems to do nothing, just provide a spot for the rubble to bury them in. But, okay, so, I don't know. Again, just kind of a fun sight gag there, but, alright, and then Fluttershy, Fluttershy's always scared of something, and she finds her face to face with a bear, and Fluttershy flies behind it and starts what looks like just beating the heck out of it, performing all these karate moves on it. And it turns out, yeah, Fluttershy does hang out with bears, and she mentioned to Pinkie Pie, which I'm pretty sure that was still a lie, Harry the bear, but no, this bear is really getting thrown across the field by Fluttershy, and Twilight just shakes her head, leaving like all the days she chose to stop being so scared of everything. But cut back, it turns out Fluttershy is acting as the bear's chiropractor, which I don't know. Again, this episode is big on sight gags, if you can't tell. But anyway, then she starts freaking out a little bit more. She looks at a puddle, and as she's trying to sort this out, and starts having a talk with herself, where it's like, and I mean, she's getting slightly more disheveled as this whole thing goes on. It's just so she looks crazier as she goes, and now she's talking to herself as like scared Twilight and in your face, get it done, Twilight, and then. Okay, but yeah, Spike shows up with the cupcakes for the picnic, and as she's in the middle of this paranoid delusion, he has to snap her out of it again. And yeah, once again, this time he pokes the thought bubble and pops it. But anyway, when she realizes he's trying to send her off to her friends, yeah, she thinks, okay, maybe still find something to work with from them. So she runs off. She looks even worse now. She tries to tell them how much trouble she thinks she's in, and of course they all think she's being a drama queen, which she is, but but they are also just kind of laughing it up while she's getting embarrassed and no less disheveled, no more reassured. So okay, it doesn't help at all, and she just takes off while they're really not sure what to think, but I mean after how much she built it up, they're just glad that nothing is seriously wrong, or at least apparently. So, okay, now we have Twilight finally in full-blown, like, insane grin and, like, big eyes, and, kind of glimpse myself in the camera there. I can be scary, can't I? But, okay, anyway, okay, she comes up with a plan. She takes a doll, I guess just some random doll of hers, to the Cutie Mark Crusaders, who are playing ball together. She teleports in to talk to them, accidentally teleporting right inside their volleyball, so it explodes as she pops out of it. And okay, she tries to give them. I mean, she's like sweating, like shaking. They can tell that she's gone a little off the deep end here, and she tries to hand them this doll. And I mean, they don't. I mean, it's just a fragile little doll, so they. Instead of what she was hoping for, that they'd start fighting over it, over who gets to play with it first, they all start volunteering for the last turn. You should play with it first. You should. I mean, they're trying to humor Twilight, but they don't, want really anything to do with this. So they start fighting over who gets to play with it last, and so she finally casts a spell on it that makes anyone who looks at it instantly need it, fall in love with it, whatever. So then they all start fighting over it, but then she can't get them to stop. And then Big Mac comes by, she asks for his help, and he runs up, picks it up, and gets it away from them. But then he falls in love with it and takes off with it, and then runs it by just every pony in the town. So they all just start chasing him for it. There's like a huge fight breaks out. Every pony in the town. Twilight manages to get to her friends in time, though, before they take a look at it, but otherwise everyone in the town is fighting over it until finally the day ends, and the Princess Celestia, she shows up, she breaks the spell, and I mean, she's actually mad this time. This is a first, and so yeah, she calls Twilight aside to talk to her. Twilight thinks that she's done for. She's going to be sent back to Magic Kindergarten, and now her friends think it's a problem. Now they're really worried that they're going to lose Twilight, so okay, but even now that this is where Celestia draws the line. Even then, though, she can't keep up stern for too long. She starts trying to reassure Twilight, like, you shouldn't think you're not a good student just because of one letter. So okay, but then the friends run in before they can get very far and start pleading that it was actually their fault because that they didn't take Twilight's feelings seriously. So she went off the deep end more than she should have, and okay, they could have helped and they didn't. So then, Princess Celestia, she puts her stern face back on. She's good at playing these little girls. Well, I guess they're more like teenagers, but okay, but yeah, she says, alright, I'll forego Twilight's punishment. That probably wasn't going to happen anyway. If you all agree to now all send me letters on the lessons you learn about friendship. So, and only when there's a lesson to be learned. So, okay. And they agree, and she leaves, and she mentions on the way out that Spike actually, because she wasn't going to show up to collect the letter, she wasn't going to show up at all, except that Spike sent her a letter saying that Twilight's fears seemed to be getting the best of her, so she commends him as the one who did take her feelings seriously, and we have a cute little moment where she gives Spike a hug, but then as he writes down the letter for the lesson they all just learned, they have to cancel that out. Of course, like, Spike can't give too much credit here now that he tries to start throwing in some self-promotion into the letter, and they force him to cross it out, and they all have a little bit of a laugh at what a goof he is. So, but okay, even that's all well and good. So, and that's the episode, and this one actually reminded me a lot of Party of One, just the images, the going crazy gags and stuff, and just how they progressively make it worse, and they like try to make these deliberately unsettling images and that kind of thing. But actually, though, this one kind of answered my complaints about Party of One. Like, I'm gonna assume I'm in the minority because it seems like from the comments that Party of One was a huge hit. And, I got comments saying that they thought this one was pretty good too, but no, I think I actually like this one better because, like I said, I complained that Pinkie Pie was sort of spiraling out of control in, like, quote-unquote, empty space. It was just like she was in conflict with herself, and we're just watching her. We're not really watching her play off of anything. We're not really following anything. We're just watching her become more and more negative. It's just like, it's not really anything to follow. It's just something to be made uncomfortable. Yeah, it did serve its purposes too, but I already reviewed that. This one, though, Twilight is not in empty space. It's very clear what she's in conflict with, and we're following her descent this whole time. We see exactly what she's playing off of, exactly what's making it worse bit by bit. So it's more of a fun creepy than just creepy, and it has a great time thinking of gags for this back and forth stuff, for just how these interactions go. This is a pretty darn funny one. It's not the funny, like, I might stop short of saying this is one of my favorites, one of the really good ones, but it's still pretty good. So overall, and Party of One was good, so like I said, I like this better. And overall, there's even more to it still. Like I said, the sight gags, this is another one that finds great ways to play with just the visuals, but also the gag with, like, Fluttershy and the bear, or how the Cutie Mark Crusaders are fighting over who doesn't want to play with the doll. Like, they have this bit where all Sweetie Belle can think of to humor Twilight is saying, like, I really like the doll's name, but then when she gets hit by the spell, she starts saying that and meaning it, which, of all the things, and okay, you have to see that one to see how it's funny, but okay, now that was really good. And also the moral here, this is a particular one that I thought was pretty good, because I think this is a lesson a lot of people could probably stand to learn. I'm sure friends have a lot of moments like this, just like, okay, they're overreacting, you laugh it off, the friend groans, growls, whatever, walks off, and then nobody cares afterwards. But, there is that fact that the friend is still, obviously you didn't help them, they're feeling bad, and there is that, those times every so often when it might seriously do some damage, so I think that's a good lesson to learn. And as for, I guess this is the last note, the fact that we're switching it up so that the friends all have to write letters now. I did know that was going to be the case from the episodes I sampled at the beginning, just to see if the show was worth it, because, yeah, I think they both were from season 2, so, okay, yeah, they were. So I knew this was going to be the case, and I don't think I'm going to have a problem with it as long as they don't throw out Twilight's arc. Like, they're implying now that, she has learned the value of friendship, she is on par with all of them, and, okay, they all maybe need to learn something, like, as does everyone. I think there were episodes before in which the friends were more the ones learning the lesson, but the letter still had to come from Twilight, so that kind of solves this problem. But okay, I still think they need to keep Twilight's arc distinct. She's still our main character, and she still is coming from, she still started out from this place where she didn't have any friends, and she's learning specifically about the magic of friendship, where everyone else is learning about, I guess, their element or whatever it is they learn about. So yeah, just keep that going, and I think we'll be fine. And otherwise, I'll see you at the next one, which is Luna Eclipsed, and we needed to get back to her, so see you there.